Hello, it's Fancy. Welcome back to the channel. I'm back with one of these intros, but no worries, if you want to skip this part, you can head over to this timestamp right here. I'll have the video divided into chapters, so it's much easier. Anyways, yeah, it's been a while. I finished my first year of college and went on a short vacation. I also have a bit of a cold as I'm recording this, so apologies if I sound a bit nasally. Hopefully it isn't too bad in the recording though. By the time this video is up anyway, I should be back in school and starting my second year of college. I say that because I'm recording this in June but making it to upload in August. So that's quite a bit of time. The reason why I'm doing it that way is because I pretty much did what I did last year and spent the majority of my vacation, or will spend the majority of my vacation, working on stocking up on SPEEDPAINT videos for the rest of the year. Hopefully by the time this video uploads, future me already has some more videos scheduled for a few more months from now. But anyways, that should be it for my quick intro. Sit back, relax, get comfy, and let's get into the video. Alright, so it's no secret that I like making comics. Usually just for fun or for school. And I figured it would be good to talk about what I like about making comics for a little bit. But first, let's talk about the comic you're seeing me make here. This one is yet another school-related comic. More specifically, it was the final project I made for our subject called Basic Sketching and Digital Illustration, which was a subject I took last year during my first semester of my animation course. I actually find it kind of funny, or at least a little bit comical, how every other activity we had for that subject looked like these. Then our final project suddenly just became a digital comic. Not really related much to what we had in our discussions previously, but I'm not complaining though, I really liked this final project. We basically just had to make a comic that had a beginning, middle, and an end, along with a minimum of 12 panels, about whatever we wanted, pretty much. I ended up making a 6-page comic. I don't quite remember, probably a 6 to 7 page comic with well over 12 panels. Of course, I had to make it all about penguins, because yes, I pretty much have the habit of inserting penguins whenever I can to any schoolwork that I have. For this one, I've just had a few chicks fighting over a fish. Also, I actually do have a self-published penguin comic that you can get as a physical book or a PDF. I'll have the links for that in the description. All that aside though, I'll be splitting up the process for this comic into 2 videos. Partly because there are a lot of recordings, but also because I want to talk about what I don't like about making comics in the second video, based on my current experience as someone who just makes them mostly for fun, or for school. Okay, let's actually get to the main point of this video now. And I'll be saying these as I think of them, by the way. First of all, when it comes to making comics, I really like how you can basically make whatever you want. Really, the only limit is your imagination when it comes to making a story. And maybe your art skills when it comes to putting that story onto comic form. We've actually discussed a lot about writing stories during the second semester, and it did kind of help me get a feel for making stories a bit more interesting and well thought out. I definitely have a lot of possible story ideas that I want to really flesh out in the future. It's just really nice how you can think of whatever it is that you like and make it into a comic. I remember doing that when I was a lot younger. The earliest I can remember was when I was in elementary or primary school, possibly even before that. I'm not very good at timelines. But yeah, I remember getting a bunch of paper and just making comics from scratch. All from my very Naruto-based ideas at the time. I remember making it so it's like a magazine, you know, like K-Zone that has a bunch of things like quizzes and also some comics in it. And I also pretended there were like Volume 1, Volume 2, so on and so forth of that comic I was making. I was also making the story up as I go. Spoiler alert though, I never finished it. I don't think I even got into what would be a proper storyline. I had a tiny cabinet that was just full of my things, like a locker. And I also put those little paper comics in there. They're likely long gone by now though, but those were fun times. So yeah, the sky's the limit if we're just talking about coming up with ideas for comics. And I'd love to talk about making stories in the future a bit more once I've gotten better at it. Another thing I really like about making comics is, like with any artwork really, you can make it out of anything. Even just a piece of paper and a pen is all you need sometimes. Related to this, you can really experiment with a lot of different programs and software if you'll be making comics digitally. Paint is a very well-known art software, all while having really good features for making comics. I haven't tried it yet though since I don't have the program, but I've heard some really good things about it from some of my favorite artists, as well as a bunch of other people talking about the program as well. I personally use Krita for all of my art and comics. And I do know that Krita does have some comic making features, but they haven't really explored it a lot yet. I'd definitely love to do that sometime though. Back when I was in junior high school, I used to just use my phone to make art and comics. And I remember using something called PixArt Color Paint, which had this really funky text pen tool that I actually used a lot for little comics at the time. You can even use a variety of different programs for different things. If you want to use one program for the art, another for the background, and another for the lettering, you can definitely do that. Speaking of, that's another thing I really like. You can be very flexible with what process you use to make your comics. Just like in making illustrations, different people have different processes when it comes to making their art. Same thing for comics. You can do it traditionally, digitally, or a mix of both. That's what I have done in my junior high school days, and that's what I still currently do. I would sketch out drafts for comics onto my sketchbook, take a picture, then send it to my laptop. After that, I'd import it onto Krita and start working on the digital sketch. Once that sketch is finished, I'd actually print the pages out and do the line art traditionally with a gel pen. It's extra work to print each page, and I have been starting to get faster when it comes to doing digital line art, so I could definitely just line everything digitally. But I really like how the end results look after lining it traditionally, scanning it, then coloring it in digitally. It gives the lines this really nice look and feel that I just really like. To give you guys an extra look, here are all of the original line art pages for the comic I'm showing right now. I still have all those pages. It makes me feel like those manga artists that do a similar process to this. It's really nice. Also, this one is a very fun thought to think about, but I also really like how comics are pretty much just storyboards for a film. Obviously, I'm an animation student, so that's something I really like. It's like you're directing your own movie or film. Every shot you choose, every build-up on the scenes in the comic, every close-up or wide shot, those things can be translated into an actual film. If you think about it, that's how animated films start. With a storyboard. Well, obviously it starts with story and script, but the storyboard is also an important part of it. And the comic is pretty much a story told visually through panels. And the panels, they can be frames for a film. So if you really wanted to, if you have a comic, try to stitch it together into an animatic. It'll be quite fun to see your comic on a screen playing out in front of you. And if you're ambitious enough, you can turn it into a film. With a lot of the processes in making a comic, regardless of what the comic is for, if you're making it yourself, your own story, your own art, you generally have full control over how your comic is made. Basically, it's great that whatever you decide to put into your comic goes into the comic. Every single line, every speech bubble, every dialogue, so long as you decide to put it into your comic, that won't go to waste. If you're working with other people, whether it be as a job or something as simple as a group project, it can be a possibility that not everything you put into the comic actually goes into the finished piece. Especially if it's someone else's story or someone else is handling the editing or there's a lot of feedbacking, stuff like that. Obviously, it can be good to work as a team, but you do trade a little bit more freedom in the creative process for it. So when you're doing everything yourself, you get to call all the shots, which can be pretty liberating if I do say so myself. I personally prefer making comics myself, and fun fact, we actually did have the option to work in pairs for this final project. I went the solo route though, since it's just easier for me. Everything I wanted to do for the comic went exactly how I wanted it to. And I think, for me anyway, that's really nice. I get to get full control of my comic. And all the work that I put into it goes into the final piece, which is also very nice. Okay, here's the last one I can think of off the top of my head for this video. This one is regarding uploading or publishing your comics. You can definitely just make little comics and share them with friends, or make little comic booklets and stuff like that. But when you enter the realm of hosting these comics online, you have so many different options. There are so many sites and platforms where you can upload your comics now. Webtoon, Tapas, even self-publishing on Amazon Kindle. I already tried self-publishing and I really like it. Obviously, I made some mistakes on my first go, but it was fun and I definitely love to self-publish more comics and stories and other related books like art books or coloring books in the future. But I also want to try posting or hosting some comics on other platforms too, like Tapas. Not for any big comic series though, I don't think I have much of the time for that, but maybe just a compilation of a bunch of silly comics. Like this comic right here. I think I'd like to upload a lot of silly penguin comics online in the future when I can manage it. You can even just upload comics on Instagram. I've had a comic account once. Didn't really go too well though, since I ended up deactivating or deleting it. But oh well, I can always just try again. And hey, a lot of these platforms have options for monetization as well, so that's a bonus. Anyways, I think I rambled enough for one video. If you like making comics as well, what are the things that you like about it? As always, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. I hope you had a good time. You can check out other comic related videos I have on the channel, or check out the very first comic I ever published. I do recommend just checking out the PDF version of it on my Ko-fi shop though, since there were a few formatting mistakes on the Amazon ones. All the links will be in the description below. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.